Alright, welcome back to a brand new scripting video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use os.time for your games to basically get a real-time, get the actual time that it is, based on, yeah, just get whatever time it is in your game. So what I'm gonna do here is I have to show off a couple things. So I'll show you a couple things. So first of all, you can go ahead and look for an Epoch Time Converter. On this os.time, I'll actually open this up right now so you can see it. Right here. So os.time is basically a bunch of seconds, or a large number, and this is actually the seconds since April 15th, well, no, since January 1970 at midnight, the 1st of January 1970. So basically, this is how a lot of programs in other languages determine what time it is. And you'll see here, if I open this up, you can basically go ahead and say this timestamp to human date, and it'll give you the GMT, your time zone, and relative. So I guess that's saying that's a few seconds ago. And this number was just generated when I opened the page, I guess. But if you want to enter a number and you wanted to figure out when that would happen, you can do that here. You can also go ahead and put in a specific date and time, and then set your local time zone, set it to be your local time zone, and then do a human date to timestamp, and it'll give you a number, and that's the epoch time that's the number for this time, basically. So I'll actually leave this link in the description because it's really helpful. And then this one is another human date to timestamp. It just seems like it's a different way to do it, so it's just all one string. And yeah, you can say at the end of a year, month, or day, seconds to days, hours, and minutes, stuff like that. So yeah, I can say this is 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. All this was just predefined, by the way, but you can always enter your own thing. It says the current Unix epoch time is, and it gives you this. And it actually doesn't seem to be updating every second, which it used to. It updates every couple of seconds, but yeah, this tells you pretty much the current epoch time. Yeah, that's all. It just tells you the current time. So yeah, with that, let's get into actually doing this. So first of all, I'll just start out with something simple. So let me create a script in server script service and just say print os.time. And keep in mind, whenever you want to use os.time, you probably also want to put in these parentheses because that's how it's defined. You'll see here. You could also have a table of time to figure out how let me look at this. If provided a table formatted similar to that returned to os.date, it will return the number of seconds since that time instead. So if you put a time in the past here that looked like os.date, which I'll talk about in a future video, then it'll basically allow you to, it'll tell you the time since that time, basically. And I'll just give a quick look at this. So this is how you define os.date. It's a dictionary, and you can basically specify a bunch of stuff. If you want to figure out more about that, go watch my video. It'll be linked whenever it's linked. And then also, yeah, all that. I'll leave it link when it's up. And you can always print os.date if you want to see what that looks like right now before that video is up. So yeah, let's just run this real quick and say print os.time. And you'll see this number right here. Ignore all the plugins. 16400219005. So if we throw this into the converter I was talking about earlier, we should get a similar we should expect a similar result. So I'm going to put in this number and say timestamp to human date. So it'll say it's December 20th, 2020, 10:38:25 a.m. in my time zone. And if you look over on my clock, you'll see it was 10:38 a little while ago when we ran that. So that is accurate. And yeah, now with that, I'll sort of show you how to create an event and like a time until that event happens. So what I'm gonna do is basically define a time I want something to happen. And also, I'm gonna customize this later, but I'll just define it for now because I don't know. I wanna have it happen soon after the script is done. So I'll say local event time equals, and I'll just put 0 here for now. But when we're done, I'll put in a number that's close to the current time. So basically, we can have something happen at that time. So we can get rid of this print os.time because we don't really need it anymore. And what I'm going to do is say, well, what we want to do is basically receive this on the client and then sort of have a GUI that tells us how much time is left until that event. And then when that event happens, you can get something to happen. So what I'm going to do is just create a simple text label real quick. And let me just go ahead and do all this. I'll set the size to 0.70, 0.10, and then put it in the middle of the screen by changing the anchor point in the position, just like this. There we go. And then I will change the default text, there's nothing there, and turn on text scaled. And basically this will tell us whenever, and I'll actually leave the background on there. Just add a UI corner. And I'll say time UI or something like that. And then I'll say time left counter. Okay, so there we go. We got that. And now what we need to do is basically send a remote event to notify every client every second that passes until the event happens. Or I guess a better way to do it with less communication might be to just, well, no, that's what I'm going to do. That makes the most sense. So I'm going to create a remote event, and I'm going to call it send time to event. Yeah. So then I'm going to define some things up here. So first of all, I'm going to define the service replicated storage so I can actually use that. So game gets service replicated storage. And then I will define, then I'll define the send time to event. So local send time to event, I guess. And I'll do replicated storage, wait for child send time to event. And then basically what we're going to do is have a loop. And if you want to do other things in this script, you probably want to, so I'm going to say local function, and then I'll say, waiting, time notify loop. This is going to be function. I'm just going to call it, so I'm going to say task.spawn. I'll say time notify loop, just like that. So basically this will spawn, and basically if you wanted to run other things below it or above it, I mean anything above it's going to run first anyway. But if you want to run stuff below it, it would actually work. Because what I'm going to have to do here is have a while true do loop. And actually at the end here I'm going to put a wait 1. And yeah, basically we're going to check the current time. We're going to compare the current time to the event time. So I'm going to say local current time equals os.time, just like that. And I'm going to say local time to event equals, so in our case, we want to say event time minus current time, and that should give us the time left. And what I'm going to do, actually I'll do this later, but I'll convert the seconds to hours and minutes and seconds, days, all that stuff. I'll do that later though, because that's sort of not entirely needed. So time to event is that, and we will say if time to event is more than or equal to 0, then what we want to do is say, well, send time to event, fire all clients, and we would give the time to event. And in the case that the time to event is less than 0, that means that the event is has already happened. And then what we want to do is, well, let's say the event goes for like a minute. So I'm going to say else if time to event is more than or equal to -60. So that would mean it happened for 60 seconds. Then we want to do the same thing. Well, no, I guess we don't need to do this. We can just say is less than or equal to, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. I could just say more than or equal to -60. And then we'll say else here. So if that time has passed, then we just want to break out of this while loop that we're having. So basically, this will send the time to event to every client every second. And yeah, with that, I'm going to get to receiving it. I'm also going to call this time event server. Sure. So I'm going to create a local script in this time UI, because why not? And I'm going to call it time receiver or something. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and get this remote event. Just paste this in here, because I have to define those. And then I'll say send time to event dot on client event connect function. By default, we'll be getting the time to event because that's what we sent over. So we want to make sure we have that. You can see right here when I fire all clients, I put that as a parameter so we can actually see that value on there. And then what I want to do is print time to event and then basically just show you that this is working. So what I'm going to do is set the event time so it's the current time. So I'm going to do this and then add, I'm going to do this number and then like, did that actually copy? I don't know. Alright, I think that did. Yeah, alright, that copied fine. So what I'm going to do is add, let's say 100 seconds to this. So now if we run this, we should be able to see some output that says how much time we have left every second. So you can see here, it's printing 70, going on, and basically it'll keep counting down until it actually reaches 0, or until it reaches -60, I guess. And then it will stop at that point. So yeah, I'll just fast forward this. Okay, and now we've just hit 0, as you can see, and now it's going to start getting into the negative numbers. So the negative numbers mean that basically the event has happened for that amount of time. But yeah, fast forward more. Again, cool. Alright, so we just hit -60, and as you can see, it is no longer printing, and that is because the event has ended at this point. So what I'm going to do is basically... what I'm going to do in here is basically set this counter to basically tell you what time it is. And then when it hits the negative numbers, it'll say the event is happening, and I'll just have something happen, like it'll start playing music or something. Although this obviously isn't needed. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is basically go ahead and define. So I'll say UI. And then I'll just say local time left counter equals script.parent.time left counter. And I can do this because the script is in there with the time left counter. If not, you'd have to define it for wherever it is. So I'm going to say if time to event is more than or equal to, is more than 0, then we want to basically say, time left counter dot text equals event happening. Did I put 2 spaces here? Yeah, I did. Event happening in and then I'll say time to event, and then I'll say space seconds. And then, so that'll happen whenever the number is more than 0. And I'll say else if time to event is equal to 0. I believe I have to put it double equal signs. And I'll say time left counter equals, or I guess I'll say more than or equal to -30, like that. And we'll say event is now happening. I guess we could technically just put this as an else, but I'm just going to do that like that to be safe, to make sure it's only happening at that point in time. And then what I'll go ahead and do is just find some song. Alright, so I'm back now, and I just got the oof sound, and after dealing with some technical difficulties, I actually accidentally muted Roblox Studio, which is my fault. I thought it was broken or something. But yeah, I'm going to get this sound here. I'm going to say local oof equals script.parent.parent.oof. Incredible naming. And then what I'm going to do is, also, I'm going to define here, after event is now happening, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, alright. So event is now happening. And then what I'm going to do is say, there are, and then I'll say math.abs, or the absolute value of time to event. Seconds are left. Or I'll say, wait, no. So 60 minus this number, and 60 is just the number of seconds I want to have it go on for. And then I will say seconds are left until the event ends. Alright, cool. And then after that, I want to basically play, well, how do I do this? Because I only want this to start playing once. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create an attribute here. I'll say started playing. And then I'll just make this a Boolean. And I will say, oof.set attribute, and I'll say started playing, and then I'll say true, and then I will basically then play it, and I'll say if oof get attribute started playing is equal to false, then, and I actually have to put this after it plays, obviously, because otherwise it's going to set it to true before it actually happens. And I'll just say oof.playing equals true. And I have it looped, so basically it's going to repeat. And then basically, if the time to event has passed this time, then what I want to do is basically tell it to stop. So actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say if it's that, then else what I'm going to do is I'm going to say send time to event fire all clients. I'm going to say, alright, so for the last one, I'm going to still send this time to event, but this time it should be -61. And in that case, we want to say, alright. So this should start playing the song, but then we want to say else. So if it's -61, then time left counter dot text equals event has ended. Just like that. And then we will go ahead and destroy the audio so it stops playing. And with that, that should be good. So let's go ahead and test this. Let me go ahead and define a new os.time So I'm going to get the current os.time, and then I'm basically going to add 20 to it. Alright, let's go ahead and join. And in just a little bit, it should... Oh, wait, we got an error. Alright, oof is not a valid member of player GUI. What are you talking about? It's right there. Alright, well, I'm just gonna put it in with the screen GUI. It probably just didn't load yet. I'm gonna say script.parent because it's one less child away. Alright. Oh, okay, stop it. I forgot to change the value back. Alright, so we need to define a new time, since that one obviously passed. Alright, so we'll say 58. And then we'll make it 78. And let's join real quick. Alright, incredible. Can you... Alright, stop. Stop it. Alright, okay. So for some reason here, the text is not displaying. So why would that be? Oh, I'm saying time left counter equals, not dot text. Alright. That should fix the issue. Because I started it both times after the event started. So I just have to be quicker about this. Alright, I'm going to add 20 seconds once again. I think that was 20 seconds. I don't know. And we will see. Alright, so do we have any errors here? No, we don't. So why isn't it going ahead and sending the information? Alright, so I just realized I can get rid of this. And then, so I want to send it no matter what. So get this out of the if statement and just send it here. But then we're going to say, if not that, then we just want to break. Because we want it to send in both cases. So, yeah. Or not, but if it's less than... If it's less than -60, then we want to... Alright. So that should be good now. Alright, but that didn't really fix the problem, I don't think. I mean, we can go ahead and join and see if it actually updates the text of it. By this point, it might be too late into this, so I'm gonna go ahead and just... Alright. And we'll see what we get here. Alright, so event happening in... Okay, so this looks better. So, I think I fixed it. Maybe. Alright. Alright, we get it. We get it. Let me just mute that for your ears. And now I'm going to rejoin while it's happening, and hopefully it should still be working properly. Alright, so event is now happening. There are amount of seconds until... There are left... Alright, well, I have a bad grammar here. I had a bad grammar. But as you can see, that is pretty much comparing the numbers and telling you how much it takes, how it works. So, yeah, with that, that's pretty much the end. I'm sorry this was a bit of a long video, but yeah, that should hopefully help you understand how to use os.time for getting numbers and basically, or getting the current time. And yeah, with that, that's the end of the video. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, as well as turning on post notifications to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that, that's the end. I will see you next time.